And we are live. Good evening, everybody. It's a little after 6:30. It's Sunday night. It's time for Eat the Mess Up.
Good evening.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone?
How are we all
Hope you're all
doing?
well, fellas, and viewers, of course. Hello, Leaguers.
Hello.
Hello,
What's up
everybody.
to the lead?
I do.
Blimey, we have an audience already. Wow, hello, everybody.
Yeah, how you
13
doing,
people
everybody?
watching. Hello.
I'm still wicking.
Completely professional, folks, honest.
Yeah.
It's called having
A few little
lives.
hitches. Anyway, welcome to our first simulcast live show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. So, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Right, who should we kick off with tonight? Wiki. This is still wicking. So, Christopher, let's see what drip hacks you've got tonight.
Actually, surprisingly enough, I'm not completely on drip hacks this week. Tonight I am on my drip hacks lemon curd, and that will be running on my Bafala with my Voraz RDA. My second choice is my Cirrus Vape Cavalry V2 with AVB's old tart lemon tart with sweetener. Lots
Sweetener?
of sweetener.
Can you just explain that, Christopher?
Yeah, it's basically some juice that you can put in to make your juice sweet. Something I bought through someone I know, and I've used a fair bit of it over time. It's not too much,
So what is it? Just like fructose or?
It's I can never pronounce it. Sucralose or sucralose.
Sucrose.
That's it. Yeah, you lot can say it. I can never pronounce it. It's but that cost me about £5-6, something like that for that bottle. You only meant to only put a couple of drops of it in per 100 ml, but I never do.
Carry on, Chris.
How much do you actually put in?
How much do I put in? Usually a good squirt.
Half a bottle.
Good squirt, eh?
Good squirt, eh?
Oh yeah, I like it when the squirt. No, the juice anyway.
Let's not.
Yeah,
Come
Yeah,
on.
I'm not going there. That's your minds, dirty buggers. But yeah, I quite like it. I'm very fond of a very sweet juice. This lemon curd one naturally is sweet. I don't put sweetener in these. It is actually quite a nice lemon flavour to it. Does quite taste like lemon curd. More the posher end than the cheap stuff that I'm used to. It takes about 6 weeks to steep these big bottles, which I did. When did I do this? The 22nd of the 8th this year. If people can see me, make me out. There you go. That was sat in my cupboard, nicely steeping away, and it's beautiful. Really nice, strong lemon taste on the way in, and a creamy taste on the way, lemony taste on the way out. There you go.
Moving swiftly along.
Yeah. I was told to carry on, so I did. What am I to do?
Welcome to the Chris Show, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't want to go up in there.
Right.
No, we really don't want to go in there.
No.
Someone's got bad feedback.
Is it me again?
Probably.
Probably you. Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone
Sorry,
talk about it.
Yeah, everyone's good.
Chris in the comments, so
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just catching up.
I'll log out.
It's squeaking again. I don't know. Who's sounds?
Akatu.
It's better.
Not mine.
Not
Yeah, it's
mine.
Now Paul's grip dropped out. It's gone.
Good evening, viewers. Loads of people
Right.
in here.
Mr. Sub-Zero, come on then. You must have a few on the go tonight again.
No, I'm only using my grip nade, the tan grip nade with the suppressor cap. And I'm on some of this, the Jam Monster, the peanut butter and jam. It's the strawberry one. This one's
Nice.
actually really, really nice. I've got a bit of a thing for peanut vapes at the moment, or peanut butter vapes, should I say. And yeah, this one's absolutely, it's really, really good. Don't
Can't
really
beat a
take a lot,
peanut butter, man.
don't take a lot of explaining, really. It's peanut butter and strawberry jam. I mean, and that's literally what it is. So yeah, no. I've got another one here. The grape jam. Never heard of grape jam before, but this is actually really, really nice as well.
America thing.
Yeah, I've not seen it over here, but it's nice. Really good.
Is that it?
And
Yeah, that's
Zippy,
it.
what
That's
are
all
you
I've got.
going
Yeah.
on?
That's all I used it.
I am on. I got 3 on the go tonight. I got the grip with flat line, put it in over here, customary half moon mod tip, and some Goth by Electra Vape, which I had that last week. I've had a cold and it's really good for a cold, like aniseed, so it's nice. And what's it? Just wicked up the pocket rocket with a titanium epoch. Thick oil on that one, and I've got the SOI on the go. Just fancied it something different, so I've got to pick out a juice for that one. So, but that one is done, and that one's on the go as well. So,
Nice.
Super duper.
I think so.
Mr. Squeaky Microphone, what you got tonight, Otaku?
Right, so tonight I've got a couple on the go. So first off,
Nice.
on the conduit box.
Is that pink or is it purple?
It's purple.
Just checking.
Pink.
Up top, gone old school. Got a Merlin Mini RTA with the mouth slung black bung in there. Of course, half moon caramel corn on top. And then I'm on another shining.
Cool.
So on my limited edition infected box, you can see that number there, look, 001, looking damn pretty.
Nice.
With the Elite V2 up top, with some of Mr. Andy's coils in there.
Nice.
Just looking amazing. Juice wise, I'm on Nick Salt's Citrus 7, it's kind of like 7 Up. And on the infected box, I'm on Strawberry Chiller from Herbal Tides. It's like a strawberry fizzy, slightly mentally juice as well. But yeah, that's what I'm on. Reminds me of old sweets, that does. So yeah, that's me.
Nice.
And the pesky wabbit, what you got tonight, brother?
Okay. I'm actually running regulated today. It's easy. I got my Vapor Storm box with my EH Pro Raptor tank. I love this tank. Running.
I found that tank quite limited on the airflow, the Raptor.
Running riding shotgun again because I love freaking that view. I like the airflow on it. I think it has to do with whatever coil you're running. It affects it a little bit.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
I'm running my cold steel for my dripper. I got the Twisted Messes on there. I ain't used it in a while.
They're good RDAs. I really like the Twisted Messes RDAs.
And I'm dripping that golden cereal bar from Hunger.
Nice.
And I'm running a 12 milligram Honey Nut Cheerios with bananas in my Druga AIO.
Nice.
Nice.
I like that. I like the red on that.
I've got some of
It's nice,
the
it's like candy, isn't it?
I've
Yeah,
got
I
some
like
of the
it.
black market from Prohibition on the way. I really can't wait to try that.
That chocolate Oreo.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever had one chocolate vape that I've ever liked. All the rest of them have been, not very good.
I'm gonna send you a chocolate, man. I got to get y'all a care package with some American juice and send it over there because we got some good bakery stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
That would be sweet.
yeah.
Right, tonight I'm running my SS reactor with APOT 25 and customary half moon mod strip tip. On there, I'm vaping some chicken chop deep fried jam donut, which is rather lush. Nearly vaped all that now, though. I've got my Smock RPM 40. No explanation needs on that. In there, I've got some Firehouse Vape 10 milligram salt nicotine. And I've got my beta with me, my good old trusty Rinco with Smock CFV 16 with the Dormouse strip tips accessories, the tank and the tip, which are purple and not pink. And in there, I've actually got some Dripac cola. And that's it for the night. I'm well set.
Nice.
Right, and Rabbit, we had that question sent to us by one of the leaguers, and I understand you've got a little bit of info on that, and then we'll bounce around our ideas from there.
Yeah, I got my opinions written down on it, and I actually did a little research. So this past week, we got an email from one of the leaguers. I believe it was Taylor.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
He was asking us our opinion on third-party sales. So I went and did some research and looked up the actual definition of third-party sales is basically an intermediary between a buyer and a seller. So basically the middle guy between like the manufacturer and the buyer. But from my understanding of the definition, I would say basically a distro, because a brick and mortar couldn't be a third-party sale because it's an actual location. But I think he might have been talking about maybe, like an individual purchasing stuff with zero overhead and then selling it to vapors. That's what I think. That's what my take was on the question. In my opinion on that, I honestly don't know if I agree with that. I think it's okay if you're like, say, a sales rep that works with companies and you're trying to get sales in shops and stuff. But I think we're starting to get farther and farther away from the brick and mortar vape shops. And I know this might come off as kind of biased because I'm a vape shop owner, but everyone knows I just speak the truth. So the way I feel is our vape shops are kind of our bloodline for the vaping industry. Like your vape shop, ever since I started, was always that place you went for questions answered, for things you didn't know, stuff like that. And most of these places that do these, third-party sales, that they're not going to back their product. They're not going to be there to answer questions. They're not going to help you through stuff. I think that we need to support vape shops more in the U.S. now than we ever have, because those are the ones that are out here actually fighting and doing everything they can to try to help the industry right now. So in my opinion, I think that if that's the case, if that's what Taylor's talking about, then I would have to say I don't agree with third-party sales. I think that we need to push more retail shops, more vape shops, and especially the ones that are fighting. Like if you know a shop for a fact is educating the public and they're fighting and they're trying to help with save this industry, we need to push harder to help these companies, because these are the ones that are going to be there to the end and push to help us. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Swansea yesterday with my son, and I took a look at there's about 3 or 4 vape shops in the actual city centre, and all of them were like, they weren't the sort of vape shops as that we, do you know what I mean, would think of as being vape shops. These were very, very commercialised. The people in there may as well have been staff from like a supermarket, they didn't have any knowledge of anything. And the prices of stuff was astronomical. And I get that they've got overheads and stuff, but, like they're just pricing themselves out in the market, if you know what I mean. So which that's just going to push people to go more online, and then people are losing out on the educational side of things. They're not getting given the right advice. But having said that, people haven't got the right advice to give. I'd say that like 4 out of 5 vape shops ran by people that don't know anything about vaping in the UK anyway. They don't know anything about vaping. They just jumped on the bandwagon to try and make some money, and that's it, which is a bit of a shame, really, because again, nothing for rebuildables or anything like that. It was just all stock starter kits, and real sort of basic juice lines that, they were budget lines that were being priced as premium. So that's something that I've seen in the UK quite a lot, though.
I was going to say also that if you look at it, I've had people say, well, they got this or that, and it's $15 cheaper or $20 cheaper or whatever. I mean, most people don't understand that it takes quite a bit of money to run a location, not just stock the store, like actual run the location, rent, electric, all the amenities. So like, you're not just paying for the product, like you're paying for having this place that you can come to, relax, speak with the owner, get educated on certain things, and actually get information that normally you wouldn't be able to find other places, especially if the owner's been doing it for quite a few years and there's somebody that you can trust, to give you the correct information. I think people got to remember that, man. It's hard when people, I understand, like from a buyer, I understand trying to find the best deal. I get that. But you have to look at the big picture. Is that $15 or $10 after shipping and everything else really going to be that much? And if so, what happens if something happens to that mod? Like,
send it back,
they're not going to, what I'm saying? They're not going to take it back. I always stand behind my mods, and I always, take care of people if something happens. So you got to think of all the other aspects of it too.
Yeah, I mean, like the customer service side is a big factor for me. You get that a lot in the UK, where you go and buy something from a vape shop, and literally if you walk out the door with it, realize there's something wrong, then walk back in, they'll say, nah, sorry, you've used it. There's nothing we can do. And that's quite a common one. And that's one of the reasons why people buy online, is because you're kind of protected with, it's not called the distance selling regulations anymore. It's called something else now. But you're actually protected if you buy online in the UK. So do you know what I mean? They've got to, because the way they see it is you're buying blind, if you know what I mean. So if you get it and there's a problem with it, or you don't like it or whatever, you've got a certain amount of time to return it. But still, even then, you get a lot of the online vape shops, and they just ignore emails and stuff like that from the customers. I've seen it so many times. Or try and call a mod. Yeah, or they try and say that a mod is an open consumable, which it clearly isn't. It's hardware. An open consumable is something like coils or juice, or do you know what I mean? Something like that. You can't consume a mod, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, like that's just literally impossible, So it's just, I suppose it then again comes down to just choosing the right shop. But a lot of people don't have. A lot of people don't have that choice, because they've only got a couple of shops near them, and maybe they might not be the best, which is the case for me. I'm rep smart there. At least when someone buys from a vape shop, they can get what levels of things to use and what setup may work, etc. That's great. That's brilliant if it's somebody like Rabbit. If it's not, if it's just some guy that's got some money and has just jumped on the bandwagon to try and make some money out of the industry, they're just going to try and push you towards the most expensive product they can, because it's all about money to them. It's not about, Rabbit's quite passionate about helping people get off smoking, and that's what it should be about. Like some vape shops, they do stuff to bring people in, cloud competitions, do you know what I mean? Game nights and all this kind of stuff. And that to me just shows that they're actually bothered about their customers, they actually care. The ones that, like somebody mentioned, they said about the minute that they've made a sale, they just want you out of the shop. Them type of shops are not the ones that you want to be going to, because
They don't tend to hang around for long either.
Yeah, I mean, most of the good shops, you know, you go in there and there's always a crowd of people in there. You know, you go into a good shop and there's a lot of people in there that are just hanging out and, you know, talking about vaping and whatever, you know, and I think that speaks volumes for the owners, you know, in that way, because they're not just worried about getting people out of the doors to get more people in and stuff like that.
You know,
I was going to say I prefer to see shops where the owners engage. You know, they do these little extra bits. You know, a mate of mine, he's going to start doing some late night openings because his one store is he's gone back to the foundations of vaping, with it, getting people off the street, getting them back to, you know, quitting the fags completely, getting them into the starter stage. And, you know, he's just opened a shop down the road, and he's like, you know, it's something that, you know, it's not about business, it's about helping people out there. And that's the sort of shop owners that you want.
hey,
Yeah, I
Zip,
saw one shop in London, and they had somebody who's literally stood outside wearing the shop's like brand T-shirt, you know, wearing the merch from the shop, and they were literally grabbing people that were smoking cigarettes off the street and saying, "Look, you know, why don't you come in and try this and see," you know, and they were actually actively they're trying to get more customers, but they weren't just targeting people that were vaping, you know, they were targeting people that were smoking, and they're, you know, coming in, and I saw them and they were actually giving away starter kits, you know, very basic ones, but they were giving away starter kits and juice samples and stuff like that to get people, which is, you know, that's what real advocacy is, in my eyes, you know, is literally getting people to stop smoking.
well, I actually had
Just looking at vaping. Sorry, there. I've heard rumours quite push in the background for TPD2 to have vape shops sign up to an independent trade body in those EU countries to check on the shop and staff vape sold only in vape shops. Yeah, and that's what it needs.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing. That not being funny. That's one thing that everybody has agreed that we need. We've said that in the past ourselves as vapers, and shop owners have said it.
Yeah,
You know, some of them will admit they're not really accountable to anybody.
but by the end of the month, we're not going to be in the EU, so how I don't know how that's going to affect us.
No,
It'll
he's
just
not
come
saying
over
it.
into our more, I believe.
Do you get what I mean?
He's just saying in those EU
As Craig
countries.
says, a lot of big chains just want to sell smokers, jewels, and sub-amp tanks. That's sadly something, but then you've also got the flip side.
Some owners will chase what's popular.
Yeah, but this is the thing. We've got to understand that mech users are the minority vapors. We're not like, you know, the majority of vapors use starter kits or you know what I mean, like sub-ohm tanks and stuff like that. You know, that is what the majority of vapors do. If you actually looked at the numbers, it'd probably be, so I'd say probably only 20-30% of vapors actually use rebuildables and mech mods. I'd actually, like, the majority of people that I see when I'm out and about that are actually vaping, most of them have got some very, very basic sort of setup that, you know, looks battered, looks like they've had it for a long time. So, you know, it's I think they're just how can I say, they're just supplying to the market that's there, you know, and what's actually
exactly what
you know, it's like, you know,
there's what, 3.5 million vapors in the UK. A lot of them won't be hobby vaporists like what we are classed as, and things like that. They will literally be using that device as a smoking cessation.
Yeah.
Small mate.
Yeah, I think you're saying there that there are some. Do you know what I mean? There are some shops that do sell rebuildables and stuff like that, but you know, there's not a great deal that I've seen. You know, mainly they're the ones that have got an online side as well. You know, they've actually got a physical like bricks and mortar shop as well as having an online side, and I believe that the online site is where they'll push most of the rebuildable stuff through. I certainly know that all of my rebuildable stuff I've bought online. You know, I haven't actually gone into a vape shop and you know, like you don't see stuff like this in a vape shop. I've seen one vape shop in London that sold mechanicals and stuff. You do, yeah. I've seen one shop in London, but like they didn't have the knowledge. They shouldn't have been selling it because they were trying to sell a first-time vapor a hog, which, you know, like sell it, you know, ridiculous. And they were actually telling them to use a sub-ohm tank on it and just make sure your coil, the stock coil is above like 0.4 ohms or whatever, and you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything else. There's no talk of battery safety. There was no talk of, you know, Ohm's law or anything. There was just talk of money. That's what it was. Star kits. Only one is hobbyist. Yeah.
It sounds like Glasgow's the place to be. Because I mean, round by me, I know of 3. And all 3 of them pretty much sell starter kits, regular stuff for like those that are coming off the cigarettes, and them not hobbyists, them not into the mechs and the bigger size of mods, things like that. So it's kind of difficult to go in the shop if you want to buy a mod around here, unless I want to go into Birmingham itself.
If you look at I mean, you got to like take into account overheads and stuff like that. Because, you know, like mechanicals and stuff, they cost a lot more money. So if you're going to stock a range of mechanicals and RDAs and RTAs and all that kind of stuff, then, you know, you're going to need the space. A lot of money in stock. It's a lot of money. You know? Like
dead stock as well often, isn't it?
Yeah, dead stock, and it will just sit there, you know, and people just they're not looking to they're not looking to actually you know, buy stuff like that from shops, because the mainstay of them people that go in there are new vapors, you know, and that's what they want. The state of distros and wholesalers in the UK, a lot of them are way behind the curve from the latest stuff. Yeah, I mean, I agree in a way with some of them, like Grey Haze, for example, seems to be about 3-4 years behind with the prices and with the other stuff. Evolution is really good. It's really, really good. You know, same as Ohm's distro. Andy Wilson, he mainly imports stuff from the USA. He's got basically any new stuff coming in and out in the USA, like M-Turk stuff and Twisted Messes stuff. He's the UK distro for them. So I think it's more of a case of like if people go to companies like eSig Wizard and stuff like that, then yeah, they are only going to get starter kits and stuff like that because that's all they sell. You know, they're still trying to sell 25R batteries at like £5 a piece at wholesale, which is just ridiculous because you can buy them for like £1.80 at wholesale from other places, you know. So I suppose it's just a mixed bag, and yeah, that's right. Yeah, a lot of the independent stores do order from Evo. The ones that are in chains, they're the ones that go to eSig Wizard and places like that. And there's nothing bad for eSig Wizard. They are just supplying to a certain market, you know, and you can't really blame them for that. But at the same time, you know, it's one of them. 6 of one and half a dozen on the other, really.
Weighing up the lesser to evil.
Do y'all remember seeing all the viral videos of people's mods, like venting batteries and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's the thing that
Yeah.
shops like mine do. Like that's the stuff that we're here to keep from happening. Like I've legitimately had a customer that he actually stopped smoking with my shop, and in about 6 months he was on a dripper, on a regulated, then he wanted a mechanical mod. And the whole time throughout the 6 months, I did everything to educate him and teach him and show him how to grow and learn better things and how to do everything. And we have some local Facebook groups that do trading and stuff. So he got in there and he traded one of his setups for a stacked mod. And he came into the shop one day and he had his single battery coils that he got from me, but he had them on the stack mod. And he's like, man, this is way too hot. He's like, I can only hit it for 2 seconds and blah, blah, blah. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about with good orders. Like I took 30 minutes to break it down for him, explain to him the Ohm's law, how the amperage works with the build that he's got, and how he needs, to up the ohms so it lowers the freaking basically the watts, I guess. And he knows now. Now when he gets a mod, he knows, hey, I have to run, certain coils from my series. I have to run certain coils from my mechanical squonks. Like he knows all of this because of the education. All the things that I see popping up constantly, I honestly believe that it boils down to super simple. Like we just have to keep educating people on everything that we have learned over our years of vaping. It's our obligation to keep pressing these things on to the next group. Like you'd be surprised how many people in my area that come to our shop actually are on drippers and use mechanicals now. It's insane, but they're safe about it. They know that if they have any issues with it, they know to hit me up and I'm going to help any time of the day, and no matter what it is. Like, because that's how we're supposed to be. Like that's what drew me to this industry in the first place, was the fact that there was always someone there. Like there was always a friend that would meet you at the vape shop and help you with the build and help you with, any issues you had with wicking. And that's the kind of things I try to pass on. Like, what I've learned through the years of, best ways to wick an RDA, best ways to build an RDA, best placement for my coils, best battery, stuff like that. That's basically where I'm coming from when it comes to, hitting up the shops. I don't think
Is that the standard over there in the States, the Rabbit, or is that just you and your passion wanting to do that?
I mean,
is that the standard level over there?
I think there is quite a few good shops like ours that do that. I think it does have a lot to do with my passion. My wife would probably say it has all to do with my passion, but I believe truly that we have to help each other. Like that's like as human beings. Like to me, it goes beyond vaping. Like yes, vaping is something that we all do and we all love. But to me, it goes beyond vaping. Like as a human being, you should be wanting to help other human beings. It's just how it should be. We should all be there for each other constantly because we're all doing this thing called life together. So in my opinion, if somebody needs your help, reach out and help them. It might take, 2 or 3 minutes of your time, but it might mean everything to them. And that's why it's so important to me that if I see someone struggling, to do everything I can to help. And I think we all, I think we all should do that. And I try my best to try to rub that off on people. Like we have to help each other. Like we have to. This is like we're all in this shit together. Just like all the Americans right now are fighting for our right to vape flavors or vape in general. In some cases, like I'm sure other countries are fighting the same thing. And all of us as vapers united as a front, like we have to be there for each other, no matter what the issue is. Like Andy knows if he ever had a bad day and he's going through some shit, he can shoot me a PM and I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah,
Zippy knows the same thing. I mean, every one of y'all know that. And in my opinion, that's how it should be. And I try to convey this to my customers the same way. If my customer walks in and they're having a bad day, a lot of people make a joke and say, Rabbit, you're like a bartender. Because people will come in and they're like, man, I've just had a shitty day. And by the time they leave, I make it a point to make them happy, like to make them laugh, to make them have a better night. There's no reason to let, 10 seconds of a day ruin your entire day. Like to me, that kind of stuff you got to let go of. Like, life is so short, man, and it's so precious,
Right.
and we have such a little bit of time here. We need to make the best out of what time we have here. And that's why this fight for vaping is so important to me, because I believe that we're leaving something for the future, like we can change an entire generation away from stuff that's been for years. So like, we have a chance here to make history, and that's why it's so important to me. I think that we have to do it no matter what it takes.
Yeah.
Not just that though. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you know, we're looking to give those people the option to make a difference, to, you know, the chance to lead a healthier lifestyle. You know, it's not just about the vapor now, it's the vapor tomorrow, the vapor next week. You know, that person that wants to come off the cigarettes, which, not being funny, we all know how hard that is. You know, take away vaping, what you got? I don't want to see the alternatives.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's a stumble out, isn't it?
like, I agree completely with that, because at the end of the day, if the vape shops go away and, you know, like, the people that have really got a passion for it, they're not either working in the shops or just in the shops hanging out and, you know, giving advice in that way, then that's a big part of the community aspect that's gonna go. And, you know, we've already seen what an effect this whole the ban on private sales and stuff has had on the groups on Facebook. I mean, you know, a lot of the groups are dead now. And, you know, that just says to me, though, that a lot of them people that are in them groups are only there for one reason. That was to get themselves a bargain or to sell something, you know, or to try and get something for free, which, you know, that's fine and everything, but that's not what the vape community should be about. It should be about actually helping new people coming in. And that's why I can't really stand the whole elitist type attitude of, you know, you're a fool if you're using a regulated, or, you know, whatever, you're not using a mechanical, or, you know, this is high end, that's not high end, and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. You know, what matters is people that are giving up smoking and getting onto vaping. That's the important thing. Well, not even
Andy, sorry to interrupt you a second. Just to answer Tracy, because she's put in that it took her 8 months to get a regulated mod. She had it 3 weeks and still not been fired up. Is it that you're having problems with it, Tracy, or if so, you know, I mean, hit one of us up and we can help you sort it out.
Yeah, it's in hand, Zippy. It'll be fired up this week, I reckon.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, she's invested in one of the Blitz mods, so she's gone quite a decent mod. And I've been giving her some advice and sending her an RTA out, which I've coiled and wicked ready for her as well. So
sweet.
That should be with her early next week, so she can get that one going.
The Blitz mods are actually really good. You know, they're really well made. Simon does some great work. You know, he's one of the UK modders, one of the better ones as well. You know, like, literally, I think that. Did he start off doing it because he's into the radio-controlled cars, the RC?
Right, yeah, he races the RC car.
You know, obviously they use lipo cells and stuff like that, and, you know, he obviously knows how to solder and all that kind of stuff, and understood the electronical side of things. So he moved then onto making mods, and, you know, I had a couple off him myself, still got one somewhere, and yeah, they're decent for what you pay for them. They're good and they last a long time. I mean, how many did you have, Vinny? You had loads of them at one point.
Yeah, I still have. I've still got like 4 of them. They're actually all due back quite soon. I sent them off for a service and a clean up with him. Quite.
Oh, Vinny's had a stroke.
Look at that for a face.
I would love to try a lipo mod.
You'd love to what?
So handsome.
I'd love to try a lipo mod.
And, you know, they're good because, how can I say, they haven't got as much capacity, so it doesn't seem to last as long.
No.
The power is just instant, you know. There's no sort of waiting for it to ramp up or anything like that. They're pretty instant.
Yeah.
But again,
Does anybody remember Brian McConnell?
no.
He was the
No.
Irish guy. He was quite active in some of the groups, and he went off for a bit. But he was a lipo mentor, man. I mean, some of the ones he had, was it the 6S and stuff like that? And he was like, just blow a cloud and he'd vape the whole room out. It was like, on a cloud vid. Only seen one cloud off him.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some that have like literally they've got a separate box and it's got like the actual how can I say the vape part of it. It's got a wire going to the box that's got a great big light inside the box. And it's like
a Ghostbuster backpack.
It looks something along those lines. It's not something you take out and about with you, that's for sure. But again, that's something that I've actually said to people before is that, look, vaping's getting a big enough hammering as it is. So going out in public and taking a big cloud machine out with you and blowing big clouds of vapor in people's faces doesn't really do vaping a lot of favors because it's a bit antisocial,
Exactly. That's why I don't take something like this out with me. One, I don't want to scratch it because it's too nice to scratch. But two, if I fire off a massive cloud on this, it's just going to piss people off.
Yep.
And you get dirty looks enough as it is without having a massive strawberry flavoured cloud in someone's face.
Hang on, let's not talk about him anymore.
Down my chest into the floor.
I mean, I just I use something like a billet box or my Club Omega or something like that when I'm out and about, and that doesn't really give off great big massive clouds, so it's not really as much of an issue, but like for out and about, I'd say that pod systems and stuff like that are probably the best way to go.
Definitely.
That's what I use.
Sorry about that, fellas. A bit of a technical hitch here at my end there.
Yeah, okay, we believe.
Yeah, we're used to it now.
Yeah, you used to it now, didn't you?
Hey, that's the first time tonight, so don't give me grief.
Who's giving you grief?
Yeah, you lot will do later. I know you will.
Oh, yeah.
We did our talking about you when you disappeared.
That's fine. I always look forward to it.
Really?
When you
Nah.
So, man. Right. So, I'm going to interrupt this now to talk about something that I put a post up yesterday, sort of just touching on it, and that is some of the behaviours in vape groups at the minute. Some of the behaviour in comments, it's disgusting, man. It's you've heard all us, and I mean, I'll speak for a lot of people out there that I know that have all said the same. We constantly preach, no drama, this, that, and the other. But some of the things this week that I've seen, with regards to kids talking in these meetings and stuff, and we all know that they're being manipulated. Let's not make it personal, going chasing their pages and attacking them and shit like that. I mean, there was a mum that has posted up with regards to son being ill. That has openly admitted after speaking to him, she put down the whole thing and she was like, he was adamant at first that it wasn't. And after speaking to him and, grinding the truth out of him, basically, he admitted that he'd been using illicit THC. And people are there slating him, and it's like, what? This is one person that's actually telling the truth. I think, to start with, she was like, it was about vaping, but then the more some people spoke to her, she began to understand and went back and asked her some questions. But she was being hammered, man. And it was like, what?
Jesus.
Another one where there was a mum with a daughter, and the mum was very anti-vaping. There was no change in her mind on that, But somebody put in comments, hope your daughter dies. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Jesus Christ.
At the end of the day,
That's just wrong.
And this is being allowed in groups, and it's like, admins, sort yourselves out, man. Really, these are advocacy groups.
What group?
And you're allowed. No, I'm not going to name it. I'm not going to name it because I should have screenshotted it. No, I should have screenshotted it for proof. But it's like, you know, are we seriously being lowered to that? People saying, you know, let's go and get violent and stuff. I had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman, and he was like, you know, we're armed to the teeth in our state, and we're ready to boogaloo. You know what I mean? If they come chasing our vapes, and it's like, what? That's not going to win this fight.
No.
You know.
No.
I've learned advocacy from what it is to advocate from some of the best. You know, you guys here, Rabbit, you know, you're an advocacy fucking king in my book. You know, Andy, Vinny, Paul, you know, all of you people out there, you know, Kate, Cornelius, your lovely partner, you know, Ben Villa, you know, the Murphys from the teams that I support, North Shore, all of them. And it's like, what the where did this message get mixed up? I know people are passionate, but we need to rein it in. There's no need. It's not what we stand for. It's not what we want in the community. And you know, there are people dying that are dying because they have been fucked over. What they thought they were buying isn't.
Yes.
They didn't ask for that.
Yep.
No.
You know, and they're getting sick. I think it stands at 26 deaths and 1,000 and some odd hospitalizations.
And the problem,
we don't want any of them fucking dying. This fight's hard enough to win as it is.
Yeah.
We want these people to get better and admit where they got this juice from, because them admitting what we should be saying to them is, forget your flavours for a minute. As an advocate and everything else, where did you get that juice? Because we don't want other people getting hold of it and being put in the same place.
You can see that.
No, I can't see
along
it.
that sort of line, I've been quite active on Twitter lately, and Nick Grimgreen, he's been putting up some really, really good information, and one of them is basically there is somebody who's obviously advocating for the tobacco industry and stuff like that, and what they've actually done is somebody's intercepted an email that was actually sent out to somebody, and this is basically what it actually says. It's got a picture of a guy wearing a gas mask, but like literally don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Do you see the gas mask picture?
I've seen it. You know what? I've refused to fucking click on it.
What it actually says
send
is,
it, Andy.
this is from, I'll send it over to you. Basically, it is from somebody called Jen McFarlane, and basically it says, "Hi Lauren, thanks for the sample images. If you can alter the labels of the vape juices to portray toxicity, that would be great, as they are right now. They may promote vaping. If you find images of people who are coughing really hard, that may work as well as the inhaler photos. I think these work too. Carl, what are your thoughts on these images?" And then there's a reply, and this person called Jennifer Winstead she's got the whole email conversation, and the second part actually says, "Hi Jen, that is very helpful. Thanks for sharing the link. I've spoken with my younger teens and the older teen, and two different approaches may work. I'll see if I can get a few of their friends here to chat with me this week. For middle school kids, shocking ads like Real Truth ads that show someone fairly young harmed by vaping. It is reaching to show a young person on a respirator, or is it reaching to show a young person on a respirator or with an asthma inhaler, and with vaping isn't harmless, and a question mark. We could do shots of a kid vaping and a second shot of them with an inhaler." And then it says, for high school age kids, show a mod being filled with antifreeze, right? Or a container listing the chemicals to show harmful effects in it. I don't know whether a lot of you know this, but PG is actually used in antifreeze as part of the makeup of it, but that's not anything toxic. Yeah, okay, antifreeze is toxic in itself, but just because it's got PG in it, that doesn't mean, like, that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to say that, you know, you may as well be vaping antifreeze, you know, and that kind of thing. And it's just, it's just really, really ridiculous. Like, sorry, 2 seconds.
It's ridiculous the lengths that some people go to just.
Well, I mean,
we know we are being smeared everywhere. Every opportunity that they get, we are being smeared. And what you got to remember is all of these links that people are clicking on. Yeah, there's another link to them, another ad, and all they're doing is feeding and feeding these views and pushing them viewer totals up. And that's where some of these figures are coming from.
Yeah. That's exactly
you know, we know it's shit. Don't click it, don't share it, because that share is making it clicked.
That's what they report it as fake news. I know Chris below me has started doing that, and I've started doing that now as well.
Yep. I've started it because I tell you what, I don't give a shit whose page it's on.
I mean,
if you're a vapor, don't share
for ages.
There was somebody who actually replied on here, and I think it's actually been took down because I replied to the guy. And what he was actually saying was, you know, well, you try telling that to somebody whose kids haven't been killed or maimed by vaping products. And I mean, like, come on, killed or maimed? How does somebody get maimed by a vaping product? I think they need to look up in a dictionary what the word maimed actually means.
There's
Daily Mail is the
I
biggest.
think I know there's a lot of work out there that we've got to do, right? As vapors, you know, all over, there's a lot of work that we've got to do. But I think also there's a lot of educating inside our own community that needs to be done.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because, you know, I'm seeing some people call themselves advocates and then going on about going out in there killing, you know, whatever. And it's like, you know what? If that's your idea of advocating, you are in the wrong fucking community.
Hey, Zippy, can I speak on that for a minute?
Man, crack on.
So, what I think people don't realize is, and I'm glad we got a good group in here to see this video.
Yeah, sure.
We appreciate all you guys that watch. What they don't realize is that all this fake news is bait. Like this, they're using this as bait. This is to draw people like us that have been doing this for a long time in. And I can understand being passionate, you know I can, and I can understand being upset about stuff. But when you start to wish harm on people because you're upset, all they have to do is screenshot that as an example of the kind of douchebags that are in vaping. It makes all of us look bad. Our job is to go in there like Zippy does. I see him do it all the fucking time, and educate them on the facts of what's going on. Don't go in there and say, oh, you're a fucking idiot because you were vaping THC and we know it's black market, you dumb fuck, and like all this stuff. There's no need for that. Just go in there and be nice and be educational and be positive and wish them well and wish that they get better and push the positivity. Stop letting it draw you in, because that's what they want. They want us on there going, oh, you're a fucking idiot. You shouldn't have vaped that. You should die. Oh, you know what I'm saying? That's what they're wanting. They want that. They want these examples so they can pull them up and say, look, I've got 300 screenshots of vapors that are talking shit and saying how horrible people are for. It's not their fault. Now, are they easily manipulated by the medical staff over here or by the crooked politicians? Yes, because they don't know any better. They don't know the difference between a cartridge and a vape and a close. They don't know the difference, because we actually talked about this last week. There's a difference in vaping and in what they're doing. They're two different things. Yeah. And as far as they're concerned, it's all the same because they don't know any better. Our job is to educate them, not to destroy them, not to attack them, not to belittle them, to educate. We have to educate the public on the facts. That is the most important thing about this fight right now. Please, for the love of God, stop being negative, stay positive, and educate. Please, that's what we need more than anything right now.
They'll get
like I said earlier,
because that's just not going to get you anywhere.
No, like I said earlier, these people that have been made sick and everything else, and let's face it, that number is going to continue to climb.
Yeah, it will do.
Because
they're lying.
Yeah, one, because they're lying, but some of them, in fairness to them, they have came out and evidence has been found otherwise to, sort of what's in them, and they're the sort of people now that are fading into the backgrounds. But we're going to get more of it. The problem is we shouldn't be chasing a lot of those. We should be chasing where they're getting these things from. That our focus should be getting that shit off the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if we can find any way of doing it I spoke to somebody the other week, Rabbit, you know this, that was one of the people that was pro anti-vape because he was actually one of the lads that had been induced into a coma through it. And touchwood, he's getting better, but he was so pro anti-vape. And I had a good conversation with him, and he was honest. He did turn around and say this, and he sent me pictures of the juice, the label, the box, everything that he was using. And we left it at that. It was one of them, you can talk to these people, approach them, ask them the story, but let's not get into threatening and wishing harm and God knows what else, man, because that's not what we do.
No. And it goes back to what I said last week.
We're going from a community that want fun. We want to enjoy what we're doing. We want to have a laugh. We want to meet people. That's what we're meant to be doing. Yeah, that's it. Now, that picture was sent to me by the lad who had been put into hospital. They didn't know whether he was going to make it out. And this guy was a family man. He'd got a young child and, a partner. He didn't ask to be made sick. He was made sick, whether it be through what they called vaping or whatever else, but he was made sick by somebody that had got no morals, that had gone out intentionally mixed this shit up to be sold.
Yeah.
We're losing focus on who we're meant to be, against. Yes, we're against governors, we're against states and everything else, but we're also against those that are selling this shit.
Yeah.
Let's concentrate on getting it off our streets. Less
when you
people.
Do come across an anti-vapor, ask them why. What have they heard? What do they know?
And if you can't educate them and you can't talk to them, thank them for opinion and move on. That's all you've got to do.
Yeah. And it goes back to what I said last week. These people who are just going out on the attack straight away, going to put off more people from wanting to listen and hear what we're saying. Going on that kind of offensive is not productive at all. And wishing harm on someone's kid.
Yeah, that's
bullshit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
That's dragging yourself down to their level, and we don't even really want to engage on that kind of level with people because it just, like Rabbit said, just puts us in a bad light. That's what they want. They want us to look like a bunch of assholes, basically, that are just there arguing and trying to force our views on other people. When really, that's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is help people get off smoking, and promote this as a healthier alternative to smoking, not as a healthier lifestyle. I mean, it's like one of these things that people keep saying is, but people that don't smoke in the first place, they're vaping and stuff like that. Well, that tells me that then people would have probably started smoking cigarettes anyway. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd rather, if they're gonna want nicotine delivery of some kind, I'd rather them go towards vaping than smoking if they're going to go down that route. And let's be honest, these people are adults. We can't tell them, what to do or anything, but that's what people are trying to do to us. They're trying to tell us what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do, and it's just wrong. And if people continue to act in that way, like wishing harm on people's kids, I mean, it makes me wonder whether they're trolling. I mean, was that actually a real person or was it a troll account of someone? Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, it was actually the mom of a girl.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I wish I'd have screenshotted it there was so many. There was a couple of hundred comments on this post, and it was the mum. She was very anti-vape, blaming vape because this is the story that she'd got from her daughter, and this, what, that, and the other. So she was misinformed. She hadn't got a clue what she was talking about. But instead of, you got the odd comment that was positive on there, people reaching out to her. But, the first comments on there should be, I hope your daughter gets better soon.
Yeah.
Makes a full recovery. But can I ask, could I just say, and, I went on there and I turned around and I says, I understand where you're coming from, but, I hit her with the facts of the NHS, stuff like that. And I was like, you do need to speak to them. And then, I looked further down the comments and there's one, your daughter wants to die. And it was like, fuck, seriously, have we... I was gobsmacked.
Yeah.
But Vinny, there was a comment that you put up just from a lady before. Can you bring that one back up?
There's never ever a reason to ever threaten someone's child.
Yeah, no,
or anyone.
Just said here that
the
amount of times I've seen the vape community have turned on their own is sickening, and we as vapors shouldn't allow it. And I've said this before: it's the infighting between people that are fanboys for one company. They think that everything's just got to be about that company and nothing else. I mean, it's no secret that I've got affiliations with certain companies, but I don't push them on people over. Do you know what I mean? Like that's my personal preference. That's just what that is. It's not to say that I think that everybody should be using the same stuff as what I use. I mean, as a coil maker, I do loads of stuff. Like I give away coils to people to help them out. Rather than them go back to smoking cigarettes, I'd rather give them coils for free. And that's that.
2 secs, Andy. This one, but more deaths will come because if they ban ages across the USA, people will go black market or make their own and not know what they are doing. Yeah, to some extent, there is some truth in that. But the thing is, we need to educate the people out there. There are going to be people mixing crap that don't care.
I mean,
you've got to know where you're going.
Yeah, but you can say that prohibition will do that and all this kind of stuff, but there's a lot of people out there drink moonshine, when they can just easily just go into the shop and buy some, I don't know, alcohol of other kind, but they decide to do DIY like homebrew stuff. Yeah. And I suppose that goes for absolutely everything. I mean,
that's what I mean. It's not just vape related. I mean, it's black market in whatever industry it is.
Well,
buyer beware and all that.
I was going to make a point on that. So the way I look at it, I'm a father. I have 5 kids, 5. So I'm going to be honest, as a father, regardless of what industry it is, if I read a comment on my wife's post that said your daughter should be dead, I would absolutely destroy that industry with everything I had.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think you're doing when you comment shit like that on someone's post? Not only are you not taking the opportunity to educate people on the facts about what's going on in vaping, but you're also making another enemy that we don't need. And what happens if you make the wrong one? How do you know her father or her uncle is not a politician in the city that you live in, or her, her aunt, or whatever? How do you know who she's related to, who her parents are, who her grandparents are? You don't know none of that. You go on there like a dumbass and you're like, oh, well, your daughter's an idiot. She should be dead. Okay, well, guess what you just did? You just made everyone related to that girl your enemy. And not just your enemy, but the entire fucking vape industry. Because now you've got everyone seeing that you're a vapor commenting on this like a dumbass. And you got everyone else pissed off about how, look at these idiot vapors. All they want to do is wish harm on people. They're just trying to kill people. They're just in it for the money. That's the problem. Our whole fucking purpose is to educate people and to get people off of cigarettes. The whole purpose of this fucking industry was built on fucking harm reduction. Everything that we have done has been to help people find a healthier alternative to smoking cigarettes. and then you go on there and make one fucking comment that completely destroys all of that work.
Yeah.
Because
just in response to Jeff Palmer, you can only educate people who are willing to be educated. Yeah, you can. And if you can't, respect their opinion. Move on.
yeah,
That's it.
But it's worth a try.
There's no need to engage any further or get personal or, some of the stuff like we've been talking about. Just move on. You're not going to win them all, but for that one person who won't listen to you, 10 others will. That's where your effort should be consisting.
Wishing death
That's
on
where
a
that,
child is ridiculous, man. It's
Wishing
ridiculous.
death on any human
That's
being
just
is not.
disgusting.
That blows my mind. As a father, that blows my mind. As a fucking human being, it disgusts me.
Exactly.
Like that is insanity. Like, and anyone who knows, like I've had a rough past. I've been through a lot in my life, and I have pushed through every fucking bit of it to get where I am today. To be the father that I am, the man that I am, the business owner that I am, the vapor that I am. It baffles me that anyone would even that thought would come to their mind to comment something like that. Like when I see something like that, and I've seen Zippy do it too, the first thing I do is comment about the facts of what's going on in vaping. Listen, these are the facts. Vaping is not killing people. These are killing people. If something happened to where your daughter is sick or your son is sick, then hit me up. Let's talk about it. Let's find out what the problem is. I hope she gets better. Like stuff like that. Don't go on there wishing people death. That is insane to me. Like that blows my mind. Go on there and try to put your little positivity. What's it going to hurt? I'm sorry y'all are going through this. I hope your daughter gets better as quick as possible. And you know what I'm saying? But wishing death, like, come on, man. Like that's just fucking insane to me.
Well, let's put it another way, right? Big tobacco wins, right? So that's the case. These people that are selling them are wishing harm on you. So where do you think your focus needs to be? You know what I mean? You want to talk about killing somebody, that person who's selling that box of cigs, he knows he's killing you. He knows he's feeding you shit.
Yeah.
Why are you not attacking him?
Why not go
Not
after
attacking,
those that
sorry.
make
Wrong word, attack. Why are you not speaking to, why are you not venting out on him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not name and shame
Long
these
and
people
short,
that are making the fake juice?
And honestly, the little bit of digging that me and Zippy did, just on one case, the little bit of digging we did, we found out that the guy admitted openly, I bought black market cartridges on the street from a guy that normally sells me weed. Like he admitted all this to us openly. And all we had to do was approach him calmly and talk to him. Zippy did an amazing job educating this guy. And the guy was, when we first started talking to him, I hate vaping. Vaping's killing people. Fuck vaping. And what happened? What happened, Zippy? Did we or did we not have the guy admitting he wanted to come on?
We did, yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
We did, yeah. He was willing to come on the show, and he was willing to have a chat. And then he sort of ummed and ahed, and he was like, look, he says, I just want to finish off. And he says, at the end of the day, air belongs in lungs, and that's it, oxygen. And I turned around and I went, fine, I can respect that, man. Wish you the best. And we left it at that. It was one of them. He was like, I can clearly see that you're a pro vape. And I went, yeah. He says, well, nothing's going to change my mind. And I was like, I can respect that. Thank you for your honesty. And I wish you all the best. You know what I mean? And that was it. And that's all you've got to do. The proof that we needed was that if he bought THC from the street and he showed us the evidence of it, that was enough. That was all I wanted. Because that's another notch for us in the vape community.
Yes.
That's another notch for the advocacy.
Hey,
because whatever his story may be, we will always have that proof that is what he was vaping.
Hey, Vinny, can you highlight Scotty Marvel's comment?
1 second. I'm just keeping afloat at the minute. Where are we?
He says, way too much passion is gone. The community is dying. Do you think there is a comeback from this? Okay, so In my opinion, yes. I think that, like I said, I say it over and over again. Education is our key right now. And positivity, man. We have to stay positive. We can't let it push us down into the negative. Like, we cannot. That's what they want. They want to drag us down there and destroy us from the inside out. Like, all of us have to stay passionate about something we love. We love vaping, so we have to stay passionate about it and keep fighting. Like, do I think it's going to be the same? No. I think it's going to change. I think a lot of things are going to change, and I think it's never going to be the same as it was a year ago or 4 years ago or even 6 years ago. Things are going to change, and we're going to have to probably start over on quite a few things. But I do not think it's over. I think there is a comeback from this, and I think if we all fight together, band together, push education and positivity, we can make a difference, and we can fix these things.
I'll just say something on that myself while I've got a chance to. I think the change will be good as well. I don't think the change will necessarily be bad. We just need to get a bit of unity. I know everyone banters that word around like it's bloody cheap, but it shouldn't be. We need to grasp the situation and bond and bring together. Stop the hate, stop the bloody everything else, stop the teams bullshit and all that lot that goes on, and just work together and turn a negative into a positive, because it can be done. I firmly believe that it can easily be done.
I don't think it's so much change that's needed. I think it's more a case of there's lessons to be learned.
Yes.
That's where the biggest differences are going to be made. You know, I speak to people that have been around this industry now for, 7-8 years. You know, there's a good pal of mine that used to be back in the day with, I think it was Steve Dorrington and Slick. You know, that's the days that we want. You know, all getting together, all talking about building, offering advice, everything else. You know, that, and we seem to have forgotten that. Since these new rules on Facebook have happened, I'm seeing a lot more of it coming back. But for every one negative vapor, there's going to be 10 more. And you know what? There's strength in numbers. And that's where the lessons will be learned, And if that's going to be their attitude, don't allow them in the group. Don't allow them anywhere near, vape groups or anything else. Because there's no need for it. We all preach. Every group I know turns around and says, we will not tolerate bullying or drama. So what the hell is it doing in your group?
I mean, think about it. We were regulating ourselves for years. Like, maybe it's time to start regulating our community too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if there's people that don't see the importance of what's going on and don't understand the lives and opportunities and obligations that we have to save them, maybe they need to be weeded out. Like, maybe we need to get people with the passion and the love for this industry back on top and back in charge and back guiding the people in the proper direction. Like, maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need more people to band together and show the unity, not just talk about it, not just throw the word out there, family, unity, family. Like, let's show it. Like, action speaks so much louder than words. And you see it just in this group, just in these 6 guys right here. You see the love and the passion and the unity. And we try to push that on everything that we do with everybody that we meet. And if we can say each one of us reach 6 people this week, that's 36. And then each one of those would reach 6 people. You see what I'm saying? It will spread. And if we can all push the positivity, the unity, start focusing on what we need to do to save this industry, we can do it together. We just have to stay positive. We can't let them beat us down. That is the worst thing, is to let them beat it. If they kill your spirit, everything else just dies off with it.
And what you'll find as well is, going back to what Sid said, not Sid, Scotty, it's his profile picture. He's got Sid Haig on there. Yes, the community will definitely change. I don't think it will change for the negative. I believe it's going to bring a lot of people closer together, especially across oceans. A lot with the American guys. They're talking with us a lot more. It's going to bring the community together as a whole, and it will be better for it in the long run once it's all, back on an even keel. So it's just remembering that and just think, if we need support, say something comes on in the UK, and are we going to look for outside help? of course. And
Yeah.
we're all going to band together again. You know, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, and
Because
it's not
we're
all
here for
about.
one reason. Sorry, Paul. We're here
Yeah.
for one reason. We enjoy vaping. We love vaping.
Yeah.
And we don't want to smoke. We don't want to smoke. End of.
Exactly.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. 100%.
Plain and simple as that. We don't want to be on the fag. We like the vapes. We like the flavours. We're happy
You know what I
with what we have.
Hmm?
Why, you know,
Why ruin it?
And look
Yeah.
how pretty it could be.
bit of pink. As I was saying earlier on, as I was saying when I was frozen, not realising nobody could see or hear me. To those people that are anti-vape, why don't we ask what put them to that position? What have they read? What studies have they seen? What evidence have they been given? Instead of just threatening them, screaming, shouting, and going advocacy and just bombarding them. Talk to them.
Well, at the end of the day, if you're threatening and screaming and doing all that
It's
shit, you're
going
not
to get you nowhere.
advocating. Pure and
And
simple.
you're only going to make
You're not
the
advocating.
vape industry. No, you're only going to make.
You
the
do
vape
not have the
industry
right
look
to
like-
call yourself an advocate. You know, an advocator, because you're not.
Well, this is the thing. I don't think people even really, a lot of them understand what advocacy actually is. And I've said this before. I've seen a lot of collections and stuff for advocacy. And I, for one, would like to know where that money's going. You know, I mean, I know a lot of it is legitimate, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that some of it's not, you know, and I just want to know where that money's going. But if you question it, and you start asking questions, people think you're being negative, and you're not. You just like want to say, right, okay, so all this money's been raised for advocacy, but what's it actually being spent on? Is it being spent on lawyer fees? Is it being spent on employing a lobbyist? Is it being, you know, things that actually might matter rather than, you know, printing up a load of T-shirts that people are going to wear once and chuck at the back of the washing pile and forget about it? Because let's be honest, you know, we can all walk around with a T-shirt that says whatever we want on it, but that's not really going to change a lot of people's minds. What we got to do is focus on the positive, steer away from the negative, and, you know, like everybody says, we all just have to sort of come together, you know, and put the personal beefs away, you know, just forget it. You know, this is bigger than that, you know, because let's be honest, all of these people who've got beefs with each other, you know, there's a reason for that. And that might well be because they're rival companies, or they were on certain teams together and they fell out or anything like that. But, you know, they might well have a legitimate reason, but that doesn't mean, right, that you can just go and stop people or disparage people from actually doing something positive, you know, but that doesn't mean to say you can't question stuff. Always question everything. That's what I always do. I don't ever...
Sorry, Andy.
No, go on.
I was just going to respond to Des there. The problem in this world is that too many people are very opinionated. And yeah, it's true. The thing is, opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. It doesn't mean to say you have to be one.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You know, nobody.
I was
Not
going
being funny. The six people who are here all have different opinions.
Oh yeah,
We're all fighting for the same reason, but we may have different opinions on how we see things.
and none of
Doesn't
us
mean to say that we're going to fall out or anything over it.
No, exactly.
End of the day, we're all individuals. We all have our own opinions. We have our own thought processes. End of the day, it's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's got their... I mean, I'll say this quite often, and that's that, you know, I totally respect your right to have an opinion. Doesn't mean I've got to it doesn't mean I've got to agree with it. Do you get what I mean? But you've got to respect what people have, you know, they've got a right to say what they want to say. And if they're anti-vaping for whatever reason, ask them why. Ask them, why are you anti-vaping? What is the reason behind that? What information are you going off? Because like there's however many million vapors in the UK, there's 14 million in the US, there's God knows how many worldwide. And there's a reason that all of these people are pro-vaping. And yeah, Ryan, exactly. People lost the thing where we can have opinion that's different, but not hate each other. I say this all the time. Most people think I'm like being like I've got an attitude problem or I'm being argumentative, when really I just like talk. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way I talk in general. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like the tone of my voice and the way that I speak. And I'm not being argumentative. A lot of the time I play devil's advocate and I'll just ask, you know, I'll ask questions that a lot of people don't want to ask. You know,
Yeah, fucking hell, don't get him started on Brexit.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Oh, God. Please don't.
You know what I mean?
yeah, we've got Carlos
You know,
as well.
but it's one of them. It's about respect at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. And I think there's a lot of people that think they can hide behind a keyboard and you know, they can be all disrespectful and talk to people like shit. And then when you see them at Expo or whatever, they all go run off and hide, you know, and they're
I've experienced that myself.
yeah. No, but the thing is, though, Vinny, mate, is you put yourself out there. You know, you're obviously, you know, you do your reviews and stuff, and you put yourself out there, and you know, you're going to get some people who are going to want to disagree with you. Well, they'll either be people that don't like the fact that you're doing reviews because they do reviews and they see you as competition, which, you know, if they actually watched your reviews, they'd realise you're no competition for anyone. So, you know,
He's just doing his own thing.
Yeah,
well,
no, I mean,
let's do it. What's it? I mean, he was on about reviews the other day, and I turned around and I says, "Well, when are you actually going to do one?"
yeah,
You know what I mean?
There's one going on
It's one of them.
today.
yeah. I mean, look, this is the thing, right? Is what's happened to like everybody's turned into like snowflakes, right? And you know, if they don't. If somebody doesn't agree with them, they just start throwing their toys out the pram and acting like acting like a little girl, and people just have to stop acting like.
Hang on, we can't say that.
Say that.
We can't say that.
There's nothing wrong with girls.
They're not. You know what I
Gender
mean?
neutral.
Look, at the end of the day, again, you know, it's like again. Look, there we go. Look, you can't say that because people get offended. Well, you know, yeah, and this is right, Carlos. Exactly right about vaping groups. People make their own group not for help. They make it so they can ask for free stuff for brands. That is so true. That is so true.
I've got a Pine Rabbit's mask maker. So I want to get some of these.
That's
masks.
a bad drip mask, is it?
Is it?
Yeah,
It is
bad
bad
drip.
drip.
He looks like something off a bloody Purge movie, doesn't he? Like,
I want some of these masks, man.
He's got a hell of a lot of collection,
you
hasn't he?
need some of them masks, Zippy.
Yeah, but I admit,
Yeah, especially now you've lost that.
come on, this week, you
Especially
know what I
now
mean?
the goatee.
I'm ashamed to show my face in public this week.
Not without the
You know
bumper.
what I mean? Yeah, man. You know, like I says to you, puberty is great, mate. You want to try it sometime?
I mean, Carlos, there. Another problem is 90% of reviewers don't review. They say good things about everything to have free stuff non-stop. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. But a lot of reviewers as well find negative for no good reason. You know, and it's like they feel like they've got to have a pros and cons sort of side of things. Like, so they're actually actively looking for stuff to say that's negative about it, so that they don't look like they're being biased. I mean, like, when was the last time you saw a review where somebody just said, "This is the best product that I've reviewed in ages. You know, this is absolutely great. There's nothing wrong with it that I can find." You don't see them sort of reviews unless it's like Jay Hayes reviewing one of his own RDAs, of course. I mean, you know, it's one of them, you know. At the end of the day, as well, with reviewers, there's a lot of self-promotion going on. Like in the way, no, not as in, right, okay, so yeah, you promote your review channel and stuff like that, which is fine. What I'm talking about is people trying to get into the vape industry, into the designing side of things and trying to make money out of it. by becoming a reviewer and then tagging their name onto somebody else's product and saying this is a collaboration between so and so and so and so, and there's a lot of that goes on as well, and it's self-interest rather than actually trying to do a good review or anything like that. Yeah, I'd rather have.
I mean, the thing is, if I use something and I think it's crap, I'll just say it's crap. End of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no point in telling.
One thing I like about Bogan is that he will literally, if he doesn't like something, he's just like, "What the fuck is this?" Do you know what I mean? And he'll just be absolutely honest about it. I mean, there was this one mod that he got sent that came from China, and it looked like an old army-style walkie-talkie, and it was just like, and he was just like, "What the fuck is this? I mean, come on, like, who the hell is going to use this?" And he was just, I don't even think he did a full review on it. He just sort of slung it over his shoulder and started talking about something else. Which, I'd rather see that. I'd rather see honesty. And this is the problem that I see, is that you've got reviewers and they're more interested in like charging people for a review. I mean, the amount of times that I've heard that people have brought out a new product and they've contacted one of these top reviewers, and the top reviewer said, "Yeah, I want $1,500 or £1,500 to review your product," and that might, then that might not even get them a good review. Now, that to me speaks volumes about the reviewer themselves, because if they're only in it for the money, then they can talk all the advocacy they like. Do you know what I mean? If they're only in it for the money, then I'm sorry, but that comes across as being a bit fake. I'm not saying that they should do it for nothing, but, if they really, really want to help people and educate people on how to use certain products, they should do that regardless of whether they get paid for it. That's just the way I see it, though.
No comment.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day,
They say the truth hurts,
I mean, the famous one was when you said that juice tasted like vomit. I mean,
No, let's get it right. It tasted like the smell of urine.
That's the one, yeah. And I think that at the end of the day, like people like juice reviews are subjective anyway. It's the same as like food critics and stuff like that. Not everybody likes a steak cooked in exactly the same way. It's like same as juice. Not everybody likes juice the same as everybody else. And for me, that's why I think juice reviews are pretty pointless. Like really, what all they can review really and give an opinion on is like whether the bottle or the labeling's any good or anything like that, because the taste is subjective. And what I might think tastes great, you might think tastes like toilet water. And that's the thing. I mean, I know a lot of the bigger reviewers, I mean, you don't do juice reviews so much anymore. I know you do them sometimes, Vinny, but a lot of the bigger reviewers won't do juice reviews.
Juice reviews are your bread and butter when you get started. They just keep your channel ticking over. I'm trying to step away from the juice reviews. I'll do it for companies that I've already worked
with. Not you as well.
Reviewed before. What was that?
Not you as well.
What?
Stepping away from juice reviews.
Well, they're pointless. You get about 30 views on them, and like half of them.
I'm not totally stepping away from. I'll do them with companies that I've already worked with and I have an established relationship with. They will continue. It's like I've got the Firehouse Salts range to do at some point soon, and various other things because I've worked with them already, and I'll keep that. I
enjoy seeing a juice review. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean, to be
honest, I like doing them, but as a reviewer, I'll give a review as reflected on this. Sometimes you're having to vape juice you don't want to vape.
Yeah.
Just so you can work out the profile. And it can be quite tedious and hard work. You don't actually want to actually do it. You don't want to sit in front of a camera and go, "This is shit, I hate this. This is awful." That's where you try and be a little bit creative.
I mean, if you look at the numbers,
it's not for me.
If you look at like that, look at the numbers of views as well. What you get compared to hardware reviews.
A reviewer puts in to do a review on a juice, the actual views on it from that is toxic.
Yeah.
compared to your hardware reviews when you're getting 6,000 and things like that, and then you do a juice review which takes as long as a hardware review, and you get 30 views.
Yeah.
Have you ever had
exactly.
6,000?
Yeah, I've got some with 6.5 and 7 zippy. If you look through them, like,
But
How much do you pay him?
well, this is the thing.
what?
I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, when you're reviewing something like juice or whatever, it's so subjective. And, you know, like a lot of the time as well, you'll get juice and they'll say that it's this one flavor and you'll vape it and you'll be like, what? How the fuck do you know what I mean? That doesn't taste anything like what I know that flavor profile to be. But, you know, that'll be somebody's own view on what that flavor profile should be, or maybe it's just a recipe they bought off somebody, which a lot of that goes around. I mean, I don't know how many blue slushes there are out there, but I'm pretty sure that there's only about 5 real recipes and all of them are just sold and shared around.
182 blue slushies.
Yeah, you know, like there's literally only a couple that are different, you know, and like, you know, some of them just taste either like blueberry and they're calling them a blue slush.
Yeah, Paul's going to show you that.
For me, a blue slush has got to have a bit of a sour sort of like tang to it. Do you know what I mean? It's got to have like a bit of a like, it's got to be a bit tart, you know. Exactly. One man's juice is another man's garbage. The juice that I like, but other people find disgusting, and that's 100% right. You know, it's like I've been vaping this no frills peanut butter and jelly, and this tastes completely different to the Jam Monster peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and jam, same thing, you know. And
I want to try that first one.
What, the no frills?
Yeah, I fancy trying that.
Yeah, I'll send you a bottle, mate. It's actually really nice. I went through a bottle in about 3 days. It's actually, it's really, really good. You know, but it's like anything. Everything's subjective, you know, even with hardware. Like some people say, oh, you know, I don't like DNA mods. And it's like, what, you've tried every single one? You know, and it's like, what, you've used every single DNA mod and you don't know, you know what I mean? You don't know, you know, you don't like them. And it's like, it's just the chip inside it, you know, it's not the actual mod. The mod itself is completely different. It's the chip inside it is the DNA part. And to brand a bullet, like, you know, somebody might have used a Lost Vape, or, you know, something like that, and they're trying to compare that then to a custom DNA, which is a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, it's completely.
Right. Who wants to sort giveaway then? So I'm assuming that's why everybody's here.
Vinny.
That's what someone's just actually said.
This is what we've got.
Hello.
We've got a Voodoo Drag Platinum 2. It's the full kit. Comes with the U-Force tank, I believe it's called. You know, it's let's have a quick look. It's the Aurora color. These are actually quite good mods. Anybody that knows anything about the drag will know that the chip inside, the gene chip, is actually really, really good. It's a solid chip. And people have got, Chris, I believe you've got an original drag that looks like it's been ran over about 50 times and it still works absolutely fine. These things are bulletproof. So that's what's being given away. Also going to include a couple of
hang on. Not given away.
Gifted.
It's a reward.
Yeah.
Right? Because
we just love our.
We want to say thank you to all the leaguers that are supporting us. You know, sharing out and stuff like that. So it's to reward somebody.
And I will include 2 Samsung 30Q batteries as well with ODB wraps. So basically, all you need to do is put your juice in it, and away you go. You know, you get spare.
You get that quiet.
Everything in it.
You get so quiet, you bugger.
Yeah, ODB wraps, love them, absolutely love them. I use them quite a lot. What have I got in here? Have I got the pickle Rick?
Yeah, I've got them as well.
Yeah. Not in that one, I haven't. The one mod I picked up that hasn't got them in. Let's have a look.
It's a reward.
I had the
for
first
somebody.
drag and I got rid of it because I didn't like it.
Drag.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it kept.
How can you
I
not
think it was
like them?
more watch it on my part though because it kept changing the settings and I got that fed up with it in the end. I was just like, you know what, I'm done.
I don't think my wife is watching right now. I think she had to go take care of the kids, so I can say this. She's the only person I know that broke a drag. She loved it, but she's really rough on mods.
How did she do that? Was it in the toilet or something?
Dude, she can break anything. It's insane. She's
Good
broken.
your sanity.
She broke a legend. Like she's broken. If someone claims that their mod's unbreakable, send it to my wife and we'll see.
Right, how are we going to give this mod away? How are we going to do it, fellas?
I don't know. What do the
Right, how many
viewers
people
want?
have we got in chat at the moment? 22.
I'm seeing 20. I'm seeing 23
seeing-
watching now.
Yeah, I'll see 23.
I say 23.
So
I've got
I
30.
think we can possibly get more in.
Shall we
It's
say
worth a
we'll
try.
do Shall we do it when we say there's like 50 people in here, yeah?
Well,
We might not get 50.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. People might not be able to jump on.
Yeah.
Vape seat reviews. If I win, can I get the money instead? That would be great.
You'll get nothing.
I like it. I like his style, man. As if he wins, he'll collect the expo. I like it.
Hey, you know,
We'll get
Right, you did get my payment for the winning of this mod, yeah?
You are.
You did get the payment for me winning this mod, yeah?
hey,
You're exempt, mate.
we could just have everyone that's in here right now comment their, I don't know, their email or something, and we can randomly do it and then send out an email to the person that won.
Not a bad idea.
So everybody that wants to be included in the gift, just put your email and
Hang on.
email.
Mick Bertley, are you going to be at Expo?
Yeah, don't put it in the comments. Send it to our LXV email address.
Yeah, they can do
That'll
that.
be a good idea.
Yeah, don't put it on the live feed. Don't
Yeah.
put it on here.
What I would do
Yeah,
is
if you want a drag V2
No, Des, you can't.
kit, yeah, where's the bloody banner? There it is.
email your entry or email I'm a leaguer to that email address, and we will randomly pick somebody.
Yeah, we'll do that on. Should we do that next week? We'll pick the person on the show next week.
We can announce it next week. We'll pick it
Yeah.
this week and announce it next week.
Yeah.
So send your emails into that email address and just put I'm a leaguer. Very simple. I'm a leaguer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree, Tracy. Not a great idea putting your email address in the live chat.
No. Monty, your reach around's free, man.
I might have said that wrong.
Don't have to win a prize for a reach around, son. Just come get it.
You better not be giving out reach around, Zippy.
Mate, people are chasing it.
Those are for me,
It's not
bro.
me.
Well, say Des has already said he's going to pinch my ass when he sees me. So
They're just Rabbit. They're just keeping your space warm. That's all.
All right.
So, man,
So
Des gives bear hugs.
you know what? Let's do something random. Let's let the viewers throw a question up in the chat, and we'll just pick one and give our points on it.
Yeah.
how much bloody moisture do you think I bloody have, Des?
If anybody has a question or a topic they want us to finish up the night with, throw something up in the chat real quick, and we'll give you our advice on it. I like getting people involved. We like y'all to be involved.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We
We
involved in the
want
show.
people to interact as much as possible. You know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you're just starting vaping or whether you're a fully fledged vapor. You know, if you are a new vapor and you want to ask a question, just give us a shout, man.
I'm going to answer.
What's the story of Zippy shaving his goatee?
I'm going to answer Josh Tilley real quick. It's because you need glasses.
Yeah, man, beer goggles.
I think that's his problem is that he's what do you guys think of the Smock RPM?
Oh,
Vinny?
Vinny's gone.
What about
Yeah, just where
the
Vinny goes, lot.
Yeah, Vinny, as soon as you mention Smock, he's run. He's gone. He's hiding.
Desmond
You're
Terrell
joking,
just said, what's your views Expo this year? What are you expecting? And yes, Nasty Cause, I have got a polished head.
I'm undecided about Expo, you know. I mean, after seeing how quiet, I mean, May 1 was quiet. Last October was buzzing.
October
May
tends
was
to be
quiet.
buzzing.
Did you see any of the live feeds from the Tampa?
Yeah,
I didn't, you know, I'm going to go back and catch them.
It didn't look. It looked kind of sad. It didn't look like I'm used to going to events.
We'll check some videos, man. When we're at our one, we'll get you involved on our one.
Do you think that's because of all the negative press about vaping, or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, over here, I don't think so much. It's been going quiet over here for a number of times that I've been there. Last October was absolutely banging. May was quiet, so I'm hoping, you know, this October is going to be better. But I'm seeing a lot of tickets just being offered out, you know, and I'm not seeing many takers for them tickets, you know.
Yeah.
No,
so I'm slightly sort of what's it. I mean, I've been lucky. I've had people come and ask me for tickets, and I mean, Josh, Charlie, you, Chris, you know, you all helped me out get tickets for them, which has been really much appreciated. But I'm sort of dubious. I think now that there's going to be one in Glasgow February, and then I think it's February, and then there's going to be one in London next year as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
I'm just hoping that's not going to be the demise of the Birmingham one, because the one, you know, the Birmingham one can be buzzing. When it's buzzing, it's heaving.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
In London at the Olympia, show. Is it the Old Court? Either one. I know they're doing a Vapor Expo London, so I'm not sure whether that's going to have an effect on people wanting to travel to Birmingham when they live near London, you know, whether they're just going to think, well, you know, this is the thing. I think the more expos that we have in the UK, then the smaller the actual amount of people going to each one's going to be, obviously, because, you know, it's not cheap to go. I mean, if you want to go for just one day, it's a lot of traveling for a lot of people, and, you know, it costs a lot of money. So not a lot of people want to go to every single show or can afford to. And, you know, I mean, they're doing things like they've got that Professor Green guy back again this year. He was at the one last May. And, you know, I mean, okay, that's a bit of an attraction to some people, but the majority of adults, they ain't really interested in Professor Green. And let's be honest, it's actually the only reason that he's there is because he's like put his name behind the juice company. You know, otherwise I don't think he'd have any care in the world about vaping. You know, as you know, not in a way.
Well, I don't see him doing much advocating.
No, exactly.
I heard little whispers that he had or put his name to a juice company, but that's all I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, but if he's behind a juice company and he's going to Expo and he's supporting the show, how about getting a message out to people? You know what I mean? If you're supporting vaping, because not being funny, let's face it, you know, some celebrities that are vaping, it'd be nice to see them coming on and giving their opinion.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson for one, he vapes. Who else?
Didn't he have one of his? Didn't he have one of his lightsabers turned into one?
Yeah, he's got a lightsaber handle turned into a vape. You know, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger. He actually vapes now rather than smoking cigars. He vapes. Really? Yeah.
I heard. I'm not sure how true it is, but apparently he's got a Hummer H1 that's pure electric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rep smart. That's what I'm saying, man. Professor Green, you know, he would be somebody that, you know, could do a lot of good.
He could
You know,
do
he
a
has
lot
a
of
way.
good.
He has a way of putting a message out there. So, you know, it'd be nice to see him actually actively supporting.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, you
Someone
don't
just
actually
asked the
see
question
him.
as well. Oh, go on then, carry on.
No, go on, mate.
So I was moving on to another question. Someone asked if people vape in Alaska. I know there's a mod company in Alaska, isn't there? Oh, what they're called? I used to love them. Big custom mods with lipos.
Yep.
The name just slipped my mind. Big, massive
Never.
boxes with lipos in them.
Oh, not over. Is it overpowered? No, it's not overpowered.
No.
It's something
One
along
got
them
the big,
lines.
They won't be
not the
overpowered.
overpowered.
They're
They're the ones that
They're
made the
not-
one out of the DeWalt toolbox thing. Is it that company?
Oh,
that's
Fat Boy?
overpowered.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the one. They do the custom ones.
Was it Fat Boy?
Yeah, didn't you make that giant, like this big thing?
Yeah, big giant.
20 batteries.
Yeah, it took like 30 odd 18650 batteries.
Well, we actually had a guy on one of the vape groups in the UK, Vape Den, and he says he basically came on and he was asking what coils should be used on his particular vape, and he was like, I was like, right, okay, so what batteries you know, what configuration is type of mod is it? And he said, you know, and he came up with this like figure of, I think it was like 11.3 volts or something. And I was like, what? I said, so it's a LiPo. And he was like, no.
This guy.
And he actually turned around and he said, no. And he got some iJoy batteries. And where it says nominal 3.7 volts on it, he was actually going off that figure, not the actual 4.2, which is the amp. Do you know what I mean? Which is the actual voltage battery. And he actually argued the point that he was an electrical engineer, so he understood Ohm's law, but he quite clearly didn't, because he was like, you know, but at the end of the day, I tried to talk to him about it, and he was asking questions, but he didn't want anybody to really give him an answer that he didn't think was right, if you know what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I just think that's
it went on for quite a while as well, didn't it? It went on for a good few hours, backwards and forwards, and yeah, no matter what info you was telling him, he was like, no, that's wrong.
We have a question for Vinny
No, it's not.
from Des. Why does Smock mass produce and not take their time? Why they're so late into the industry? Over to you, Vinny.
Late into the industry.
yeah.
Well, this is your. This is.
Smock have been
Yeah,
around
this
for
is.
years.
You know,
You're
it's,
smart guy here.
They're originally
yeah,
called
somebody's
Smoke Tech.
mentioned Smock.
Yeah, they were originally called Smoke Tech. They're based out of Shenzhen in China, and they originally started off as a clone company, which a lot of the big Chinese companies started off like. And in the end, they were like, why are we making clones when we can just do our own stuff ourselves? And that is how Smoke Tech then turned into Smock or Smoke or whatever way you want to call it. And yeah, so saying that they're late in the industry, I mean, you know, I've known about them for at least 5 years. I mean, when was the Alien release? That's got to be 4 years ago now, surely. You know,
It's about 4 years.
yeah, you know, so I'd say that like Smock or Smoke, whatever you want to call them, you know, they've been around for quite a while. Now, there's quite a lot of people saying about the Professor Green thing. Okay, now Professor Green, yeah, he's had his name behind the juice company for a while, and he was at Expo last May, and he's there again this May.
We did that lifestyle expo in Manchester as well.
That's right. But what we're saying is as much as he is part of the vape industry and this and that and the other, why is he not doing anything to advocate for vaping as a whole? Yeah, there's a difference between promoting your brand, and advocating. Like, you know, promoting your brand.
The problem might be the fact he does have a lot of very young fans.
Yeah.
No, I get that, but if you, I mean, not being funny, whether his fans are young or old, they're going to know he's going to a vape expo.
Okay,
it's been plastered about everywhere.
It comes down to parenting, right? Because a lot of fucking hell. Let's have a
Here we
look.
go. Somebody's mentioned parenting, and he's going to go off on one now.
Well, no, I mean, look, right,
I'm taking
Vinny,
the
you know
piss.
what to do.
okay, so all of his albums are parental guidance. Do you know what I mean? Explicit lyrics should only be sold to. Do you know what I mean? And listened to by people, you know, over the age of 18 anyway. So it's again like that's one of the things where he's got younger fans and stuff like that, but they're not at the expo. Do you know what I mean? They're not in any vape groups or anything like that. Well, not the good ones anyway that make people, you know, what do you call it? You know, who make people prove how old they are to be in a vape group. You know, this is the thing. He's like people say he's active in the community. I've only ever seen him at expos. Do you know what I mean?
Not
Like,
seen him any at all.
And that's not having a dig at the guy.
no, it's not. It's just
I'm
saying.
just, you know, that's just my opinion.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you might like his music, you might not, you know, and at the end of the day, it's like juice reviews. It's like juice. Everything's subjective. But, you know, he's obviously got a large audience.
Nice
you know,
save. Sorry.
because- Go on, mate. No, you carry on.
No, I just said to Vinny, nice save.
Thanks.
Yeah, Vinny don't want
I'm still waiting for Vinny to answer the question about smock.
I just
And by
have
the
to
way,
read it.
Commented.
excuse me, rabbit. All right. Oh, bones pick with you. Hold that thing up again. Hold that piece of paper up again.
Which one?
The one that you just held up. Right.
The rabbit?
I do the flashcards round here. Yeah. In the words of Greta, how dare you?
How dare you?
Evening, Nick.
Nick Bradley Sutton.
What up, Nick?
Right, we need to get wrapped up, I think, and I believe Rabbit wants to have his final say again.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'll wrap it up. Okay, so first off, I just want to say thank you for everybody that tuned in, all the leaguers. We appreciate y'all's support and continued support while we grow. We have big plans for the future. We've got a lot of big things coming up that we're working on. And no rants, Brian, no rants tonight. We're actually working on an app to better help y'all, help the leaguers stay in contact with us. You'll be able to use it to get a hold of us for questions, and we'll post random things on there. You'll be able to send us messages on there, and you'll also, hopefully, by the time it's finished, you'll be able to live stream the show from there. So the app will be a good thing for you to download. What else? Oh yeah, and make sure to save the email for the show, because every one of us sees the emails. We all are attached to it. Yep. So you can email any of us on the show with any questions or concerns or anything y'all want, us to talk about. We'll be more than happy. We actually, did that this week. We actually had a couple emails, so we talked about them this week. So if there's anything y'all, want to hear on the show, we're always available for you. And like we talked about earlier, education, positivity, we all believe in that. We're all here for that. So if you have anything that you need help with vape related, we are all here. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you follow us or subscribe to the YouTube channel. And like I said, there's the email, so you can get a hold of us through there anytime you need to. Once again, we love all you guys. We love all the leaguers, and thank you for all your support and love.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yep.
And that's it, folks. We'll wrap up there. Remember, that's the email to enter for the giveaway. Reward. Everyone get involved. A cracking little mug there for you as a thank you. And we'll be back next week, folks.
Yep.
Bye.
Drop it on the
I love it.